If you cannot figure out how to turn over your units, you are going to lose money. I know you feel good. You have a tenant in your property. They've been paying for 6 months, a year, 2 years, but now they're leaving. Some of them because they want to move on, some of them because you don't want to resign them. And your unit needs to be turned over. Your unit needs to be prepared for the incoming tenant. But you don't have a strategy, do you? You don't have a process of how you're going to turn over these units. And without that, you are going to lose money. So my goal is to teach you how to do this process. My new book, The Multifamily Advantage, comes out December 1st. And last month, I walked you through how to buy a property in 30 days. Now I want to show you how to turn over a unit, because this is a key part of the foundation of my success. Units need to get turned over so that I can continue generating income. And sometimes that process is easy, but sometimes that road is a little bumpy. The unit doesn't look as good as you thought it did. Maybe the cost of renovations is more than you were expecting to pay. Maybe you're now out of compliance with the Section 8 regulations you've been accustomed to, or your county has changed their rental ordinances. Either way, we have to do what is necessary in order to get our units re-rented, and I'm going to walk you through that process. I'm DeAndre McDonald. I am a real estate investor here in Central Virginia, and I like to focus on studio and one-bedroom apartments for my target rental. I've got a number of those properties by converting motels into apartment complexes, but sometimes I'll occasionally buy a 6-unit building, a 10-unit building. I bought one with you guys a couple months ago, and now I need to turn over one of those units. I need to get it prepared for the next tenant. And this last tenant left it in not the best shape. So I'm going to walk you through my system, how I go from getting the keys back to handing them off to the next tenant. Because there are 3 places as an investor you stand to lose a good amount of money. The first is with a tenant who is not paying. Non-payment is a huge deduction in your income. Maybe they're not paying because you've done something wrong and you need to get that rectified. But maybe they're not paying because they can't or choose not to. If you cannot quickly fix that situation, you stand to lose a good amount of income. The second place you stand to lose some money is through vacancy. I separate vacancy from turnover because in my mind, vacancy is a unit that is done, ready for the next tenant, but no one's interested. Maybe it's because of how you've done the apartment. Maybe it's because of the price or the neighborhood. Whatever that might be, the unit is prepared for its next tenant, but you can't seem to lock down that lease. That is a period in which you're losing money. And the final factor, the basis of this entire video series, is turnover. If you do not have a system in place, you will lose money. You might lose it because your turnover is taking too much time. You didn't have all of your contractors lined up, and so there's big periods in between the different phases of your renovation. You might lose money because of the cost. You didn't do the math. You didn't justify these particular choices, and now you have to pay for them. And the final is value. Maybe all of your contractors were lined up perfectly to get all of the work done in a very quick amount of time. Maybe you justified the purchase price of all of the details you chose to incorporate into your design. But your renters don't think it's worth it. You've upped the rent, and the people who are your consumers don't like the price of your product. That's the section I want to talk about today. It's important, and I don't think many people are talking about it, so I will. I'm going to show you how I received this unit back in this condition, and we took it from this to, I actually don't have an after to show you quite yet. We haven't finished it, but as we do, I'll give you more pictures. This is day 1 of this rental turnover. There are 3 phases of day 1 of this turnover. We need to document, we need to design, and we need to demo. Let's start with documentation. Your tenant has told you they're moving out, or maybe it's the other way around, and you've submitted a vacate notice to them directly. Do you know what that unit looks like? No, you don't. The answer is no. Oh, but I walked the unit. Did you walk it empty? You don't know what's under that couch. You don't know what's behind that very large painting they surprisingly got a couple of weeks ago. You didn't look inside that fridge with all of the food gone. You didn't look under that mat that's in the tub. You don't know what that property looks like. But when the tenant is officially out, when all of the paintings are off of the wall and all of the carpets are off the ground, when all the animals are gone and you can open up the vents and the HVAC, you can check the washer and dryer, every cabinet, the stove, every appliance, that's when you know what you're starting with. Documenting is about really grounding yourself in the reality of the quality of the unit the day you receive the keys. And this is not just for your planning, this is also legally for you to return the security deposit. If you're going to be deducting anything from what the tenant has left you for the deposit, you better, and I mean you better, have the documentation to back it up in case you get sued. Now, if everything's on the up and up, you should have no problem in case that tenant challenges you in court. But without video evidence, without photographs, especially with the way the property looked when you gave it to them, you risk having to return everything you deducted and some more. So how I like to start this process is bringing the pictures of the original listing with me as I walk through the property. My first walk through the property, I'm not carrying a camera. I'm not documenting anything. I'm just looking at the pictures that I used to promote this property, and I'm comparing it with what I see. Hey, the walls were white when I first listed this property. Now they have a yellowish tinge. Hey, I don't remember there being all of these little pinholes in the walls. The floors were all brand new. I have the pictures to document that. There maybe wasn't any chipping in the tub. These light fixtures were a little different. And again, I have the documents in front of me to justify what I'm seeing with my own eyes. After I walked through the property with the photographs I had from the beginning, I can now record what I'm seeing, pointing out the changes in the video. You can hear me talking over the video as I walk from room to room. Hey, in this room, I see that the refrigerator has a broken seal. In this room, I'm seeing that the smoke detector was removed. In this room, I'm seeing that the tub has had chipping at the bottom, and these were not present when I first rented this apartment to the tenant. Then I'm gonna take photographs. Does it sound like overkill? Yes. But I've been in a number of courtrooms which will not allow you to bring your cell phone, and I don't know until I'm there. And so I'm going to bring the documents, I'm gonna bring everything that I have, but if they tell me I have to leave my phone in the car, if they don't approve me bringing my laptop in, I have the photographs and we will not have to reschedule this hearing. Although I'm going to use these documents to send back to the tenant when we talk about the deposit, I'm not going to do that today because I don't know the prices of these renovations right now. But I will have my running list so that when I come back with a contractor, when I come back with a handyman who can help me fix these things, I can then write out the price next to the changes, but that's not for today. The second phase or step of this day one rental turnover is design. Now that I know where I'm starting, I have to figure out where I want to go. I have to figure out the market value that I'm trying to go after. I think sometimes we use market value as getting the top dollar for the apartment, but I don't think that's true. I think every apartment that's in legal compliance has a market value. You could leave carpet in here and that has a price, or you can come in and put hardwood and maybe that ups the price. You can leave the white refrigerator or you can go black stainless. I need to figure out how I'm going to design this apartment to either get to net neutral, get back to where it was originally, or try to go after a higher rental price, which might need some higher end renovations. As you can imagine, getting back to its original condition, especially if your unit has been rented for a while, is going to be your cheaper option. Hey, we're not trying to upgrade anything. We're trying to clean it up, fix what we need to fix that can't stay in its current condition, and rent it back out. And there are 3 reasons I'd probably stay with the lower end renovation. Number 1, maybe I don't have the time. Right? I'm looking at my life. I'm looking at what's going on. I don't have time for a 4-week renovation if this property needs a lot of work. So I'm just going to go with the 1 week and get this turnover moving quickly. Number 2, and it happens to a lot of you, You didn't have the money. You know you can get more rent, but you didn't save up to replace all of the flooring. You didn't save up to repaint this entire house. You didn't save up to do the siding or work on the backyard. Even though it could be worth it, you just do not have the cash to put into the investment. Or number 3, it's not worth it. It's not worth putting it granite if tenants can't get over the quality of the neighborhood. It's not worth putting up a gazebo in the backyard if you don't cut down the 20-foot trees. It's not worth it. Yes, you can do it. Yes, you have the money, but there's no point because the investment doesn't justify the cost. The other option, if you have the money and you have the time and the return justifies the initial investment, is to upgrade the rental. These renovations can be as simple as replacing the floor or as complicated as redoing all the siding and getting new windows. We need to design both of these options so that we can make a logical, financial, well-informed decision and not just an emotional one. When I ran my numbers for this particular property, it was worth it for me to go after the highest market value. I've had this property for a number of years, and this tenant has been with me for a number of years. The condition of the property isn't the best, but since we have to rip up the floors anyway, since I have to repaint the whole house, I might as well take that extra leap to get the newer appliances, to install the dishwasher, to do the exterior work, because the rental increase can be upwards of $500 per month. That is worth the potential $6,000 to $7,000 renovation because I would get my money back in a year and I would still have all of those additional renovations moving forward with future tenants. And that leads me into the third phase of today, which is demo. I have documented the way this property looked when I stepped in. I have designed what I would like this property to look like on the back end, and I have justified that cost. And finally, I need to prep the house for that work to be done. I'm doing it. My assistant's doing it. You can do it. You can hire someone else to do it. Whatever. The goal is get all this stuff out of here. This fence, it's gotta go. These floors, gotta go. These appliances, gotta go. The trash, it's all gotta go. By prepping the unit today, I can better prepare it for all of the contractors that will be coming in the future week in order to finish the design I spent earlier today creating. So that's all I accomplished on day 1. The first phase was to document. I went through the entire property, taking pictures and videos to make sure I knew where I was starting and to make sure I have the proper documentation for when I return the security deposit back to the tenant. The second phase was to design. I came up with 2 options. One was to just get back to the original design. To say, hey, replace what's here, don't upgrade, don't change. I want to get the same rent I was getting because it is quicker and cheaper to do it that way. And the second design option was to say, no, I'm willing to put in a little more money if that means I can make more on the back end, if I can get that higher rental income. And I chose the second. The final phase was to start demo. To go through the property and rip out everything that could not stay because it was damaged and everything that needed to go as we plan for that higher end rental property. And I'm gonna keep going with real lessons and real footage because I want you to be successful. This is not something I feel like is talked about enough as an important part of your rental plan. And I'm excited to help you as you grow in this particular aspect. With that, I will see you in day 2. And if you're interested in pre-ordering or just ordering, depending on when you see this video, my new book, The Multifamily Advantage, you can go to the link that is on your screen or the link that is below in the caption. Again, I'm Deandra McDonald, and I'll see you in the next video.